Morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to be showing you the potential of severe thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and especially Wednesday. But for now, I'm going to focus on today. So, for this part of the video, it will be focused on today, and I will show you why. So, the forward panel. As you can see, there's a slight risk extending from northwestern Minnesota and down to northeastern Wyoming. And then again from northeastern Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, down all the way into far northwestern Virginia. Now, there is a 5% tornado risk, say from central Ohio into southern Wisconsin. Some hail possibilities here too, but today, again, I'm going to show you soon, but significant wind damaging straight line winds are entirely possible from southeastern Pennsylvania up into southeastern Wisconsin. So now I'm going to show you why this is. So here we'll take a look at the HER model. So for the first part, I'm going to show you the damaging wind threat that's expected over here. So as you can see, this is right about now, some ongoing strong activity. But then 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Around 10 a.m., we could see already some strengthening storms from high amounts of most unstable cape and high levels of shear in the atmosphere. The HER would depict two main clusters so that by the noon hours, are moving to the Madison area and then the second cluster into the La Crosse area, then 1 p.m. into Milwaukee. Also some strong supercells present in some areas. Then 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4. Then by 4 p.m., it would have the activity going down to Indiana and Michigan, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Then by 8 p.m., the activity starts to wane, but noticeably still some strong activity. Then maybe the development of scarce severe thunderstorms again, and then by 1 a.m. then by 3 a.m., then moving down to West Virginia. Now, with this area storms, large hail and significant damaging winds, possibly to 75 miles per hour in spots, are certainly possible, especially from Madison down into Columbus, Ohio, with that bull echo. And I'm going to show you what's probably going to more likely unfold. So, again, by 10 a.m., then 11 a.m., then by the noon hour, we have a significant bull echo, possible small MCS move into Wisconsin, and then by 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and this one also would ride it a bit further to the north, which is possible, but we'll have to see ultimately where the warm front goes. So 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Then it weakens that, but then it shows by around 7 p.m. you have more activity develop, but doesn't. This may be a bit too far north, but it's gonna be one of those events where we'll just have to wait and see as to where it goes. So I'm gonna quick show you what's available. So as you can see, lots and lots of most unstable cape at upwards of 3 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. Now, if you don't know what that means, that's basically a significant amount of it. And then shear, there's up to 60 knots of it. So in spots, so a lot to keep it going, and a lot of the shear. So it's going to make the storms more organized in nature. It's going to make them fast movers, and they'll be long sustaining and will tend to have lots of cold pools, which will support lots of downdraft potential. And then, concerning the tornado threat today, it's supercell composites pretty hot. high, then there's the possibility of some weaker tornadoes, but there would be a possibility of stronger tornadoes, but um, it's just looking more of an organized storm setup for at least today and tonight. Now for Tuesday tomorrow, I'm gonna show you. Here we go. Now for tomorrow, we have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from southern Maryland down into eastern North Carolina, and then another area of slight risk in northwestern Minnesota and eastern South Dakota. Then a broad area of marginal severe right here, but this area is more uncertain. It just ultimately depends on storm coverage, but any that can fire up here will certainly become severe. So again, there is little tornado threat here and then here. As for the hail, boom, and then there's certainly wind potential down here. So I am going to visit that region first. Well, visit. Okay. Mhm. So now I'm gonna quick switch over to. So now let's skip to tomorrow. So again, there's a remnants of tonight's storm, and that is what's going to especially kick off tomorrow's severe weather. Is the food. Well, the remnants of the complex leaves behind in the region. So by 1 p.m., you notice some development begin to develop then 2 p.m., but then nothing really happens. Although the Hermile doesn't bring much until you get to here. Oh wait, actually no. The Hermile doesn't really bring anything, I guess. Let's check the NAM. And neither does the NAM. I think the slight risk may be associated with the morning activity. I'll have to look again. I'll mention it in the comment section below if it is. But now I'm going to go up to here to address the severe risk that's expected in this area. So, can skip. Then, so tomorrow you already have by 10 a.m. some scares drawn to even isolated marginally severe storms. Then 11, 12 p.m. Okay. Then by 4 p.m., you start getting development in central North Dakota, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Although, again, they don't really show much developing. So, tomorrow's very trivial, apparently, of both regions. So, again, I'll mention the comment section below. In the description, any new updates in the next several hours. So, now on to Wednesday, the most significant day of all of them, and I'm going to show you why. So again, oh, come on. So now I'm going to zoom. So here, we do have a marginal threat, right, extending from central North Dakota and up into western New York, but then it's going to be this slight risk, the focus of Wednesday from upper Michigan straight through the central portions of Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, and well into southern Iowa. And if you look at the probabilistic, you'll notice this area of hashed black air X's stretching from almost the Wisconsin-Michigan border all the way into central Iowa. Now, what that means is that there's a possibility of some significant severe storms. So, in this case, the possibility of large to extremely large hail, damaging winds, some of which could be significant also, and then possibly some tornadoes, one or two of me, which may be strong if everything sets up right. So, for now, just because of uncertainties with the placement of the ingredients and the position of the cold front, they only have a slight but do put this, and they do mention that once there's more certainty with how widespread the supercellular activity is going to be, there will very likely be an upgrade to enhanced for somewhere in this region, maybe even moderate if deemed necessary. But I think for now, an enhanced for tomorrow would be good. So I'm going to show you exactly what we have in hand. Can you hear the birds chirping now? It's very early morning. Anyways, no, not her. Nah. So Midwest. So speaking of which, relating to the marginal threat of severe weather, we do have by 7 a.m. some isolated activity development at 10 a.m., but it's going to be 1 p.m. on Wednesday, right in this region from right around here is where the NAM would depict the start of some significant supercell development. And so now with the surface-based cape, it's not too present over here, but there's going to be a lot of most unstable cape, but that's going to help start off. So what's happening is the main cold front is the main warm front is situated right here, but some of the surface-based cape is leaking past the warm front. But what you're gonna have happen is because the system's moving to the northeast, you're going to have the warm front just lurch up suddenly, and that's going to lead to some problems. So as you can see, very unstable atmosphere, and most unstable cape again staying past it. But then right here, you can see already high supercell composite values, especially from western Iowa into southwestern Wisconsin, and already again, if anything does develop in this area by 1 p.m., there could be possibility of a few tornadoes and very large hail. So in relation to the shear, up to a widespread 45 to 65 knots is expected right along the front. So what that means is that you're going to see some organization later on, but in relation to supercells, there's going to be a lot more development. They'll be very long lasting, very self sustaining, and will definitely be intense. Now, for the helicity, you see it's pretty high values, and the EHI is ridiculous, but trust me, things will only get worse. So 1 p.m., but this isn't really the start of the activity. Not that I actually looked at the parameters, it's just ongoing storms. But then 1 p.m., 4 p.m. though is when you'll start seeing development from central Iowa and up into here. That's where you'll start see supercells develop with the cap being broken. So, as you can see, now the warm front went from just being here to now it's all the way up into here. And very, very unstable atmosphere, and lots more most unstable cape that to bring along with it. And so you can see just ridiculous supercell capacitive value. So that doesn't really mean the amount or the intensity of the supercells, but it's just there for okay, so now we know if any storm goes through here, it's very likely they'll become supercells. And as to the significant tornado parameter, again, some tornadoes are weaker tornadoes are certainly possible, especially again stretching from central Iowa up into here. And then maybe at the very worst, a stronger tornado down in that area. But it's not going to be until 7 p.m. where you see the peak activity. But mid-level blast rates, they may not seem too impressive, but they make up for lots and lots of low-level blast rates. And as you can see, just lots of moisture to share. So anything right on and just along and just ahead of the um, front is going to develop storms, and then there could be secondary of development right along the lakeshore. Although that wouldn't be as widespread, probably just a few weaker cells here and there. But again, the Healy values are ridiculous, which means that stronger tornadoes are certainly possible, and then the EHI levels are pretty high. Boom. Just very high values. And then by 7 p.m., you'll notice that this is also right around the time where you'll start seeing some organization of the storms. With the high amounts of um, cape and wind shear, there's going to also be a lot of what's known as downburst cape. And with that, there's very high amounts of values of it expected. So what that means is that there is more than enough to create significant cold pools. And when that is breached, you're going to have downburst winds, perhaps straight line winds, some of which could be significant, reaching the surface, especially in this area. The miles have been very consistent with from Portage up to Marathon into Marinette, maybe perhaps O'Connell counties in Marinette, some significant damaging wind potential. But there's also expected to be some embedded supercells in the line. So with that, so as you can see, now the NAM though, it's been doing something weird. I think it's just trying to calculate, well, the lake breeze is around here, so that means the warm front won't go nearly as far, but all of the other miles dismiss this, so I think this is just an issue of the NAM. So um, I'll show you what exactly to actually expect. So you'll see 7 p.m. the surface base cap values start falling with the loss of thermal heating, but it's still very unstable. But it's going to be most unstable cape that's going to make up for it. So, and this is also going to be when you'll see the peak of supercellular and possible tornadic activity. Again, so this area, the values may be higher, we'll just have to see, but we just don't know just because the NAM's messed up. But as you can see in Lane County, very high values. They've been very consistent with the NAM with this location in Lane County PDS tornado. So yeah, as you can see, so yes, some possibility of microbursts too, but it's going to be more downburst straight line winds you'll see rather than individualized microbursts. But you'll see the downburst cape is going to be at 614. So yes, that does mean that there will be a lot of downbursts. There's a lot of potential of that happening. But you'll see the line is pretty much non-existent way at the top. So what this means is that you're definitely going to see the potential of perhaps one or even two stronger tornadoes in the EF3, EF4 range. Hopefully not EF5, but I don't quite think EF5, but of borderline EF4 tornado cannot be ruled out across this area. Then you'll see the storm Slinky has this sort of kidney bean shape. That means there is definitely going to be rotation in any supercells that develop. So very favorable tornado weather. Then with the wind shear, you'll see it go down. That also means that rotation is going to definitely be present. So for Wednesday, so expect significant, so expect severe storms, especially in this area. But as to where the most significant severe weather will occur, I would say definitely in this area where there could be significant tornadoes, significant damaging winds, and another thing I want to bring up is the possibility of very large hail, perhaps 3 inches in diameter in spots. Some baseball size hail is not out of the question. So now I'm gonna quick show you some of the other models and show you what they show. Oh, and then by 3C you start seeing the activity start to wane off, but still some very severe storms expected, and those die off as they cross Lake Michigan. But Wednesday's going to be quite the day. I'm going to be live on that day just because of how bad it's looking like. So again, it goes up to 18C, but so like with the NamNest, it dismisses that um pocket of lake breeze. It just completely dismisses it. So yeah, I'm not anticipating what the NAM would show with just a random nice bubble of pretty much nothing. So then, again, otherwise everything it's agreeable with everything else. Then RDPS though. It's a bit fast with the storm, with the cold front, because as you can see, already shows by 1 p.m. it's trying to leave Wisconsin, and then so I think it's a bit too fast. Now the GDPS though, it's also a bit fast, keeping things more to the east. But then the European shows something else. In this case, it's probably a bit too far to the west, but not by much. Only by 30 miles, but there's that. And then the GFS, which also has been very consistent with its forecast on this, is right in between, again, agreeing with the NAM. Basically, expect severe thunderstorms, especially in this region, and then perhaps the most significant occurring over here. So, again, the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned that it's a slight risk for Wednesday for now, just because of uncertainties about how widespread the supercellular activity is going to be and just how bad everything is going to be. But once there's more certainty, so beginning tomorrow, there will very likely be upgrades to enhance